I'm going to start off by talking about a couple of common scenarios and questions, just to get the fundamentals out of the way about using smart bidding on new accounts and campaigns, because these questions come up regularly in my private group. And then I'll walk you through the step-by-step framework, the flowcharts. So a question I often get asked is, can you use smart bidding on a brand new account so it's never been run before? And honestly, there's no right or wrong answer to this. There's too many variables, essentially. So if anyone tells you there's a definitive way on the type of bidding you should use on a brand new account, they're lying. I've seen, managed, worked on, audited hundreds, if not thousands of accounts over the past 12 years. I know smart bidding's not been around that long, but the fact is there are so many variables. Every website, every brand, every product, service, there are nuances, they're all different. So it's a trial and error situation. I've seen accounts tank in performance going straight for smart bidding. I've seen some accounts work perfectly fine. Manual bidding is the safe bet. We know this. So you can set a limit to your bid and you can ease into those impressions and just test the water. So you're dipping a toe with manual bids, hopefully to get some conversions. There is a tell that smart bidding might work from the off, and that's an established website, company, brand, whatever we want to call it, that already has direct and organic traffic converting. So if you can look back over the past 3-6 months and you see that the organic traffic is converting at, say, 3%, then it's normally a good sign that smart bidding might be okay out of the box. But again, it comes down to keyword selection and targeting, ad copy, landing pages where you send people, and all the bits in between. So if you do that job well, then you put the odds in your favor for it to work, obviously. Because target CPA really is quite simple. It's a case of, if you're hitting your budget limits, then you can lower it to get more incremental conversions in that budget. So if your budget's up here and you keep hitting the roof, drop your TCPA. And on the opposite side, if your cost conversions are too high and you're not even able to spend the budget, then it's more of a diagnosis situation to understand why, which is why I created the framework. Now, target ROAS is even more particular because it needs revenue data, it needs that monetary data coming into the account. So ROAS is even more finicky. In fact, I wouldn't start on target ROAS. Very rarely I'd start on target ROAS. Target CPA, maybe. Max conversions, some people say, well, start on that. The thing you need to understand about max conversions is your budget is essentially your cap on your bid. So if you set a $10 a day budget, that's your cap, theoretical cap. Google won't always bid up to $10, but it can. So if you set your budget to $100 or $1,000 a day, you are lifting your maximum bid considerably, and it's a surefire way, particularly with a large campaign, to burn through the budget very, very quickly. Max clicks is similar, and you could argue, well, you can add a cap to it, but a cap is a target CPA or a target ROAS, so therefore they are no longer maximize conversions or maximize clicks. They are essentially a smart bidding to a ROAS or a cost conversion target. However, smart bidding on a brand new campaign in an existing account is okay. If that account has data, conversion data, then, and you say it's all manual, so you've been running an account for 3 months, 6 months, 6 years, whatever, on pure manual bids, and you decide to run target CPA on a campaign, well, the smart bidding will use the conversion data, the metrics, the hidden layer in Google's black box behind the scenes from the account to help bring your target CPA up to speed. And that's true of target ROAS as well. So it will use the entire account's data. So it can work in that respect. And finally, a question that comes up is, well, we've only got 10 conversions a month. We've got a very small number of conversions. We're on manual bidding or we're on max conversions or whatever. And can we move to target CPA or target ROAS? The answer is maybe. So it's a test. You have to test these things. No one can tell you specifically what to do, but target CPA will typically work. It used to require a lot more data. It's got a lot better. Google's improved over time. So you can now jump into target CPA a lot quicker than you did before. So 10 conversions across the account might be enough. It might be sufficient. Target ROAS, I'd still say you want 30, 40, maybe 50. You need more data for target ROAS to be reliable and consistent, whereas target CPA is a lot more elastic, is probably the word. I mean, you can set a target CPA of 50 and have a budget of 25 a day, which doesn't sound logical. It's like, well, my target CPA is higher than my daily budget, but it might actually work. And I've seen it work like that. So those are the sort of Q&As out the way. And let's now jump into the framework, which is the interesting bit and the bit that you probably came for, not me rattling on. Okay, so let's zoom in. I'm starting with the leads and conversions framework here. So this is for cost conversion, TCPA. And the starting point is the learning period. And depending who you ask, the learning period is either a myth or a con. And it's kind of a real thing. Google has a lot of data on the audience already, and it understands the market and understands the auction. So it's not starting from scratch, even though you are. Typically, we would say, have we had 2 weeks of data? So we've got a brand new account or campaigns, or we've migrated an existing campaign that was converting to target CPA from manual. Do we need 2 weeks? Well, you might need 3, you might need a month. Ballpark figure I would suggest is at least 10 conversions. So if you can get 10 conversions in a day, then you don't have to wait as long. So let's walk this through. So let's say we've had 2 weeks accrued. We've got 25 conversions, 30 conversions, whatever it may be. So we're out of this initial phase of the learning period in quotation marks. Okay, and then we ask the question, have we set an actual target? So did we set a target CPA? If it's no, then we're on maximize clicks or maximize conversions. The next step is, okay, so we've had this period, we've accrued conversions. What do we do next? Well, is the performance at the desired cost per conversion or the conversion volume that you're after for your spend? If the answer is yes, then the next thing we need to look at is budget. Have you spent 100% of your budget? If yes, then you have two options. You can obviously raise the budget, or what you might want to do is actually reduce your target CPA, just increment it. And this does depend on how much you're spending, but small increment, maybe 10, 15%. Give it a week, test it, or however long it takes you to accrue those conversions. I won't be making changes every other day. The simplest approach is to change on a specific day of the week. So say on a Monday morning, you increment your budget, or you tweak your bid down, your target CPA down from say 50 to 45. Do the same thing, the same review the next Monday and the Monday after. So you stick to a specific day of the week. Keeps it simple, keeps the data clean as well. But if we whip back up to the top and we say, okay, so have we accrued enough data? No. Okay, so then we look at, is there enough data in the first 7 days? So if you've got a high click or conversion rate campaign, you might not need 14 days, as I said before. So we've got enough data. We've hit 50 conversions in 6 days, let's say. Then we say yes. So are we hitting the goal, the cost conversion goal? And this is similar to the other path of the flow chart. If it's a yes, then again, it's a budget question. It's like, is the budget spent? If it isn't, then you might have to increase your target CPA to spend that budget and get more volume. Now, it's more favorable if the budget is entirely spent, because you can simply increase the budget, or again, ratchet down your target CPA. So let's just whip back to the start and look at where things might go wrong. So we've been through 2 weeks, however long it required your account, but we've not set a target CPA. So we're on max clicks or max conversions. So then it's a case of, okay, so is the performance at the level you need it to be? So is your CPA, your cost conversion, where it needs to be? Now, if it's a no, then it could be all manner of things. So in this list, I've got structure, keywords, volume, keyword grouping, ad testing, negatives, attribution. So the first thing is account structure. That's the most obvious one. Remembering that your campaigns are essentially your budget container. So if you're finding that your budget is overrunning, you've got max conversions set, then it's a case of, does that campaign need to be split out to ensure that the ad groups that are performing aren't getting beaten by the ad groups that are struggling to convert but are spending money. So a simple process to split them out. If your budget limited, then you could pause off the weaker stuff for now and essentially walk before you can run. Particularly on a new campaign build, you don't want to be expanding and creating thousands of keywords off the bat. You want to start tight and build. So that focuses around keywords which require or typically require commercial intent. Now, I've done a long, hour-long video on keyword research with intent-driven research. So if you want to look at keyword research in more detail, follow the link. And the other thing that people don't pay enough attention to is the week-on-week change in things like the impression volume. So particularly in seasonal markets, you have to pay attention to, is there more demand or is there less? Has it increased or has it decreased? Because that will have a direct impact on your cost conversion, as it will with ROAS if you're using the other flowchart. So that is something to review and just get an eyeball on. How is it compared